So I read this story and I did not know if I was going to just talk about it or make a video about it or discuss it whatsoever, but it's really gnawing at me. And so I thought that since I was going live anyway to give away the winners, that I would bring it up and just throw my 2 cents out there, since everybody under the sun has been throwing their 2 cents out at this. But there is a YouTube family, and the woman's name is Micah. She has a very large YouTube following. She's a lifestyle and mom blogger, vlogger, and she has 4 bio kids, and a couple of years ago she adopted a baby from China, and the channel followed the journey of the adoption, yay adoption, very closely. And for those of you who don't know, my niece and nephew are both adopted. I am not in the new house, we're at the rental. My niece and nephew are both adopted, and we are obviously love adoption. There's whether it's open adoption or not or whatever, adoption I think is a beautiful process, unbelievably beautiful process. And so I got to watch it from the beginning of them looking for families through the entire process. And this YouTube family came out and made a statement yesterday or the day before that their son is going to be or has been quote unquote rehomed because he is on the spectrum. He has autism and some behavioral issues, and it's more than they can handle. And so I am not hi Ava, I am not here to bash or judge this mom or this family because I do not know what is happening behind closed doors. But what I can tell you is that I don't think we should use the word rehome anytime we're talking about a child. If you can't hear me, go out, come back in. Hop out and then come back in, because we definitely have sound. But so I'm not a fan of that term. I don't understand why you would choose to use that term. I am, however, very happy that this child has now found a new home that is going to love and care for him. However, because they dissolved their parental rights. What they did was it was a dissolution of parental rights, and then another family took this child. So I had a problem with using the term rehome because that's not something you do with a person. But I think what got me so upset about this is when she said that they got more than they bargained for because that child has special needs and behavioral issues. And she said that she didn't want to show those things on camera because her channel is about light and positivity. Having a child on the spectrum and having a child who has brain damage from a birth injury and having a child that we have to go to various therapies for, and that we share all of the sides of the messy, it felt like a punch in the face to say that it was more than they had bargained for, because there is no guarantees in parenting. There are no slam dunks. There is no way to know what you're going to get, because not only is motherhood complicated and complex, our children are complicated and complex. And the fact that you think you can be going down one direction at 150 miles an hour, and all of a sudden something is going to happen and you're going to have to take a left turn. And that is what parenting is. Parenting, especially a child with special needs who needs I say it, and I've talked about it in my book. I'm talking about it in my new book that's coming out. Parenting a child with special needs can make you bone tired. Like, it hurts. It hurts in your body. There are days that you go to bed and your whole body is so tired from the struggles you have with your kids. And this is even if you have a neurotypical child. Like, even if there is literally nothing wrong with your kid. Choosing to rehome a child because of that, it was just like, oh, God. Like, I felt like I got punched in the stomach when I read this, you know, because it just broke my heart. Now, I'm very happy that they found a home for this child that I pray to God is this child's forever home. But I can tell you that the struggles that we've had with our youngest are exhausting and painful and stressful, and I'm not trading those because my son wasn't a mistake or an accident, and he absolutely wasn't me biting off more than I could chew. And it was because I know about quote unquote more. I know what it is to parent a child of needing more, and that's my child no matter what. And I can't, you know, whether the child is biologically yours or adopted, that is your child. And so I think that this story really got under my skin, like I said, because of the use of language, of using the term rehome, and then talking about getting more than you bargained for. It just, because that's what life is. Life is way more than we bargained for. Parenting is way more than we bargained for. It's all of it. It's just, you don't know what's going to happen. I didn't know that when I gave birth to my son that he had suffered a traumatic brain injury, and that things were going to be different for us. They handed me a baby. I knew no different. When he wasn't walking and he wasn't talking and he wasn't doing the things that he was supposed to do, we started to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And then when he was diagnosed on the spectrum, and when he was diagnosed and tagged with OCD and ADD and every other thing that you could think of and every behavioral complication you could think of, it didn't change the way I felt about my kid. And I'm sad for families and for children out there that endure that and that feel for that, because what I can tell you is that family is the most special thing that we have. And, hey buddy.
Where was that coming from?
We're just giving out free hugs today.
What is this?
Hey.
A little schniz.
No, only hugs.
But I just thought that I would talk about that in terms of, I'm not judging this family. I am simply stating that that is not language that I would use, and no parent on the planet ever gets exactly what they think when they become parents and when they have kids. The path of parenting is a windy, windy, windy road, and you never know what you're going to get. And what you get is not something I feel like should ever be traded in.